Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about ways to destroy your natural hair. A lot of these things I have done. I just thought that I would share them with you so that you're not going through the same stresses that I've already been through. If any of these tips help you, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. You're going to want to stay away from small tooth combs. Things like this are not your friend. I cannot stress this enough. The problem with combs like this is that it's so small that it pretty much just catches on all of the small curls that you have. It just rips your hair out. That leads to a lot of breakage, and then you're not gonna have any retention. I mean, it's not gonna look like your hair is growing. It's probably not really gonna feel that great coming out either. So I would recommend using a comb like this. This is the comb I started on once I switched to a wide tooth comb, or a comb like this. This is what I use now just because my hair is a bit thicker, and I like this because I can get through more hair than I can with this one. Using products with no regard for ingredients. You don't want to just pick up just any product. Things to look for would be sodium lauryl sulfates, sodium laureth sulfates. Those are two drying agents that you would find in shampoos because they want to remove the buildup. They also end up removing a lot of other things as well, and that causes your hair to be really dry at the end. Avoid things like petroleum, which is basically Vaseline. That's gonna seal your hair and it's not gonna allow moisture to enter. Mineral oil, it's really bad for your hair, I can't remember why. Paraffin oil, parabens, but definitely look into them. There are also good alcohols and bad alcohols. Alcohols that will dry out your hair, and fatty alcohols that will add slip to your hair, which makes it easier to comb. So it's really important that you pay attention to the ingredients that are going in your products. That way you can make sure that you're really taking care of your hair. Make sure you always read the labels and do your research because it'll pay off. A few years ago, I went to Barbados and I thought to myself, okay, I'm gonna just wait till I come back to comb my hair. I usually comb my hair about once a week, and I was going for 2 weeks, so I thought, okay, it's just 2 weeks, it's not gonna be a big deal. I went in the sea, I changed hairstyles, so like I had it up, I had it down, I was doing all sorts of things. I had gel in it, I washed it, but I didn't comb it. So when I got back, I was like, okay, it's time to wash my hair. It took me about 3 hours to detangle. I pretty much was trying to get single strand knots out, trying to get big knots out. It was completely matted. It was coming out in clumps. I was ripping parts out. It was so terrible. It was so terrible. So to prevent that, don't let this happen to you. You are going to make sure that you're combing your hair on a schedule. So if for you that's twice a week or 3 times a week, once a week, it's whatever works best for you, but make sure that it is regular. It makes it a lot easier to comb your hair the next time if you comb it before, right? Because if you just leave it for periods of time uncombed, then it just puts more stress on the time that you have to comb it because you're gonna accumulate more knots. It's just, yeah, save yourself the trouble, trust me. I know everybody has different regimens and the way that they go about doing their hair, but for me, what I like to do is make sure that when I get in the shower, I already start to section it off when it's wet, and then I go ahead and I put my conditioner on, and then I comb first. You want to make sure you comb your hair first, because once you go ahead and you put the shampoo on, you're going to find that it's going to strip it of, sometimes the natural oils and the other product that's in the hair. You don't want it to strip your natural oils. That might mean that it's a little too strong, but you do want it to get out the product and the other things that have built up in your hair. The problem with that is it's going to take out the things that allow you to comb your hair smoothly. Right? Just because our hair texture is so tight, it's going to be hard for your hair to stretch out unless it has something that is going to allow it to stretch easily. Now once you remove those things, it's gonna stay tight and probably just snap on the comb. That's where you find a lot of breakage happens. That's why you don't wanna comb your hair while it's dry. It's usually dry before you wash it, right? So combing it while it's wet and combing it right before you shampoo it. I mean, I've seen it happen. Trust me. You're not gonna wanna do this because everyone's hair is different. You don't want to do something just because someone else is doing it. You might have a friend that has maybe straight hair and they say, hey, you know, I use, herbal essence and it's the bomb for me. I mean, sure, it might work for her, but it may not work for you. Now, the best thing to do is to find people that have hair like yours. That's why hair typing is a really cool thing, because it allows you to kind of find a category of people whose hair resembles yours. Also, it's really cool to check out people on Instagram, Facebook, Long Hair Care Forum, Black Girl Long Hair, and different websites like that to see hair types that look like yours. That way you can see what products they're using, why they're using them, and perhaps you have a higher chance of finding something that might work for your hair as well. I know everybody's crazy about the protective styles. Protective styles are great. You want to protect your hair, you want to keep the moisture in, you want to grow your hair. The problems come in when you neglect your hair during these styles. Say you have a weave on and underneath your hair is natural, you're trying to grow it out, you just keep the weave on and then that's pretty much it. Maybe you spray it, maybe you wash it. That's neglect. The hair underneath isn't getting any nutrients, you're not giving it any moisture, you're not giving it any oil, nothing's happening. It's just dry hair sitting under there with weave slapped on. You have to make sure that you are moisturizing your hair. So, I mean, they have those little like squeezy bottles where you can put some moisturizer in, and then it has a little spout tip that you could use to feed through the tracks and get your hair moisturized under there. Or even with braids. When I had braids in, I would wash my hair, I would go ahead and moisturize them, I'd make sure I was oiling them, and I was moisturizing them. I think I just said that. And I was taking care of them. Because you don't want your hair to just fall apart underneath these things. I mean, first of all, your hair is attached to more hair, and you don't want that hair to damage your hair instead of wrapping your hair, which is what it's meant to do. Wrap the hair and keep the moisture in. Also, a good idea is when you're getting these things installed that you're using really good products that hold moisture in your hair to begin with. That way, when you go to open them up, they do keep some of the moisture that you initially had put in. You want to make sure that you stay away from high heat. So you don't want to use flat irons and curling irons and things like that often. Blow drying your hair, all of that really dries your hair out. The heat actually just burns your hair. So you want to make sure that if you are using heat, you use a heat protectant. If you can, try going for a lower heat as opposed to a high heat. That way you're able to retain a little bit more moisture and help the drying time. A surefire way to make sure that your natural hair is ruined is letting people have their say. I've been natural my whole life, so I feel like I've heard everything there is to say about natural hair. Comments-wise, I've had people tell me it's nappy. I've had people ask me, oh, what are you doing with your hair? And I'm thinking, my hair is done. You know, I've had people tell me, oh, you should get it braided. Oh, you shouldn't leave it out. Oh, it's distracting. When are you gonna perm it? When are you gonna straighten it? You should texturize it. You know that it looks so much better. All sorts of things they tell you. What you have to know is that everybody's gonna have some sort of say, especially if you live in a city or a state or some part of the world where people still have relaxed hair, where that's the norm or where that's the expectation. You have to realize why you're doing this and remember that this is the hair that grows out of your head. They have no reason to judge you for it. And I mean, most of the people that have negative things to say, they either have hair that is completely unlike ours, so maybe their hair grows straight, or maybe their hair is relaxed, right? So you have to remember that it's your hair, it's lovely, and there's a whole community supporting you. So go on Instagram, check out all the girls that have their natural hair out, and they're posting a lot of styles, they're posting a lot of inspiration, and yeah, if you don't see that around you, just check it out because it's happening, and we want you to wear your natural hair because it's your hair and you're beautiful.